Hey Lions fans! We have some interesting stuff to dive into today, including a bold play by Dan Campbell and what it means for the Lions going forward. But before we get started, hit that like button so you don't miss any breaking news from your favorite team. And at the end, comment below what you thought of the matchup against the Vikings. Let's get right to it. Last Sunday, the Lions opened the game against the Minnesota Vikings with a surprise. On their first offensive possession, they attempted a fake punt from their own 33-yard line. Yes, you heard right. The Lions went for it early, trying to catch the Vikings off guard. Jalen Reeves-Maybin was the one with the ball, but unfortunately, he was stopped well before the first down on 4th and 7. The play didn't work out, leaving fans and analysts alike to wonder if this was a sign that the coaching staff was worried about the Vikings' offense from the start. So, what went wrong? In his media session on Monday, Dan Campbell explained the thought process behind the decision. According to Campbell, the Lions' punt unit got exactly the look they wanted from Minnesota's defense. They believed the play would work, but in the end, the execution just wasn't enough. Campbell said, "The look was there. There are a few things we can do a little bit better with it. You want each one of them to work, and you believe they will work." Basically, Campbell isn't second-guessing the call. He's disappointed it didn't work, but he won't shy away from making aggressive calls like this in the future. If the look is there, the look is there, he stressed. And for those wondering, that won't stop him from trying these types of plays again. He's committed to keeping pressure on opponents, even if it means taking risks that don't always pay off. Now, let's talk about the defense, specifically the pass rush. Losing Aiden Hutchinson to a season-ending injury left a big hole on the Lions' defensive line. Hutchinson's presence on the field was a game-changer, and now the team has to figure out how to fill that void. To make matters worse, Marcus Davenport is also out for the season after suffering a torn triceps in Week 3. That means both of our starting defensive ends are out, leaving a big challenge for our defense. So what's the plan going forward? For now, the Lions are rotating multiple defenders and mixing up different blitz packages to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They also added defensive end Isaiah Thomas from the Bengals practice squad. Thomas didn't play against Minnesota, but we're expecting to see him on the field Sunday, and he could be a big part of the Lions' efforts to rebuild their pass rush. Against the Vikings, the Lions managed to generate 15 pressures as a team, with Alan McNeil leading the charge. But as Campbell pointed out on Monday, while the defense battled hard, there's room for improvement. "We need just a little bit more," Campbell said. "A couple of these plays. You'd like to believe we can get somebody there just a little bit sooner." He praised defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn for the work he's done, but acknowledged that the Lions need to tighten up their pass rush if they want to continue to be competitive. One thing's for sure, the coaching staff is working hard to adjust. Campbell gave credit to his coordinators, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and Dave Phipp, for their efforts in preparing the team. Glenn, in particular, was praised for how he's handled the defense without Hutchinson. Campbell called him a stud as a defensive coordinator and said that despite the challenges, Glenn continues to maximize everything the Lions have. "It wasn't perfect, but my God, those guys competed," Campbell said. And really, that's what this season is all about. The Lions battling through adversity and finding ways to stay in the fight. And let's not forget about the bigger picture. Sunday's win was more than just a W in the standings. It was the Lions' first NFC North game of the season, and it catapulted them into first place in the division. With the Vikings previously undefeated, this victory puts the Lions in a strong position as we near the halfway point of the season. Campbell didn't want to call it a must-win game, but he made it clear that the team understood the importance of the moment. "If that's really what we're saying, everything's got to run through Detroit," Campbell said. "To do that, you've got to win your division games, and then you get a home game in the playoffs, if not more." So, it was big. The Lions are aiming for something bigger this season, and it all starts with locking down the division. Sunday's win was a major step in that direction, but there's still plenty of work to be done. Now, let's talk about something that's been getting a lot of buzz this week: former New Jersey Governor and Cowboys fan Chris Christie's comments. After the Lions' blowout win in Week 6, Christie called Campbell classless for the way he managed the game. Campbell's response? Classic. He brushed it off, saying, "The last time someone called me classless, I was drinking wine out of a bottle." Clearly, Campbell isn't too concerned with what Christie thinks, and he's focused on the task at hand, leading this team to more wins. All right, Lions fans, that's a wrap on today's update. What do you think of the fake punt call? Do you like Campbell's aggressive call, or do you think the Lions should play it a little safer in those situations? And how are you feeling about the defense moving forward without Hutchinson? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Okay, let's talk about Goff. He's been nothing short of spectacular over the last 4 games. And here's a stat that will blow your mind. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Lions have thrown 18 touchdowns over the last 4 games, while Goff has only 15 incompletions during that same span. That's incredible, right? To break it down even further, Goff has completed 83.5% of his passes, thrown for over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Oh, and did I mention his passer rating? A ridiculous 140.8. That's an MVP-level performance, folks. And he's doing all of this while leading the Lions' offense to some of the best football we've seen in years. Let's talk about Sunday's win against the Minnesota Vikings, a team that came into the game with a 5-1 record and a defense that was shutting down opposing QBs left and right. But Goff, he cut them down. He went 22 of 25 for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, with a passer rating of, you guessed it, 140. And when it mattered most, he delivered again, leading an 8-play drive in the final moments of the fourth quarter that set up Jake Bates' game-winning 44-yard field goal. I mean, come on, Lions fans, how can you not be excited about Goff right now? He's showing the kind of leadership and poise that makes us think we can play well into January, maybe even February. Coach Dan Campbell said it best after the game when he called Goff a stud. Campbell even talked about how it's not just Goff's arm talent, but his mental toughness and heart that make him a guy you can build a team around. Now, there's no denying that Goff is leading this charge, but we have some challenges ahead. The big one? We just lost our star defensive back, Aiden Hutchinson, for the rest of the regular season. He fractured his tibia and fibula in that dominant win over the Cowboys, and it's a huge blow to us. Hutchinson was having a breakout season with 7.5 sacks in just 5 games. So yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, but this is the NFL, and we have to find a way to fill that void. The good news? As long as Goff continues to play at this level, the Lions will remain in the Super Bowl conversation. And let's not ignore this, Goff is slowly creeping into the MVP conversation. FanDuel currently has him at plus 650 to win the MVP, right behind Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. The last Lion to win the MVP was the legendary Barry Sanders, and that was in 1997, when he shared the award with Brett Favre. Just imagine that, Lions fans. If Goff keeps up this pace, we could see our QB right up there with the best in the league, taking home some hardware. It's been a long time since we've had this kind of excitement in Detroit, and honestly, it feels like we're on the verge of something really special. So, I need to know, how are you guys feeling about Goff and the way he's playing right now? Do you think he has what it takes to lead us to the Super Bowl? And with Hutchinson out, who do you think should take over the defense? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Lions news. See you next time, and as always, go Lions!